and again. So, last night, I wrote a Facebook post along the lines of, I want to start a YouTube channel to tell how to get over anxiety and stop panic attacks within seconds. And it's all from my experience, and it's worked phenomenal for me, like perfect for me. So I thought, why would I not share? So where do we start? And we start by starting. Okay. So let's go with anxiety. Anxiety, if it's all based on fear, the answer to get over anxiety is to not fear it. I.e. Okay, so when your body goes into like panic attack mode, and anybody that has panic attacks like gets it, like understands the shutting down, the weirdo, scary movie cartoony thing. It's so scary. It's like your heart starts to race, and okay, anybody with panic attacks understand panic attacks. So whenever you start to feel it coming, your mind starts to race, like, oh my God, you get scared. When you tell yourself like this, like, okay, if it's gonna come, let it come. And just don't be scared of it. Like, think of all your past panic attacks that you've had and just expect everything from that to happen right now. Just expect it, but without fear, and it won't come. Like for me, my panic attacks would be like my heart would start to race, and then it's like my body would just be tingly and weird. And so one day I just told myself, I said, okay, well, and I felt like I was going to die. So I said, all right, well, if I'm going to die, then let me die. And then that didn't happen. So I was like, okay, well, I still know that a panic attack's coming. So the next thing that would happen to me was my heart would start to race. And I'm like, give me a fucking heart attack then. I'm not gonna sit here and just be scared of it and play around with it for 20 minutes. That's not happening. And it wouldn't come. So I was like, oh, I'm onto something here. And this is like 5 years into my anxiety. Every single day, being scared of everything. Being scared of everything, for what reason? None. Just my mind just going crazy. That's just the secret. It's just to not fear it. And I feel like I should talk more, so I will. I'll tell about my experience. So, my experience with anxiety. I remember my first panic attack like it happened 20 seconds ago. It was the scariest, worst day of my life. I remember I was at my friend Ashley's house in her room. She had black comforters. Like when I tell you I remember everything. And I was laying down, and then my heart just like skipped a beat. So then I just got up like super fast, mad scared. And I was like, something's not right. So I didn't want to like seem like a weirdo. So I just ran into her sister's room, and nobody was in there. And her sister had like a purple comforter with black flowers, something like that. And I just remember starting to cry. I just cried. And then I called my sister Tanya, and I was like, Tanya, I just want to die. Like, I don't know what's going on with my body. Like, I'm so scared. And she goes, Tyler, it's a chemical imbalance in your brain. You need pills. You need to go see a doctor. And I'm like, okay, all right, relax. So then I was like, you know what? I've never been big into medicine. So I was like, let me just sleep this off. Didn't do that. So I got up, I went downstairs, and I started talking to Ashley's brother, Mike. And I was like, I just feel super weird. But obviously I was like super cool about it. I was like, nah, I just like feel weird and stuff. And he was like, oh, Jackie used to feel like that always, which is their sister. And he was like, we used to always have to take her to the hospital. And then so I was like, okay, there's a word for it. It's called a panic attack. And I was like, there's no way that she felt like this and is still alive. Like, and is still like a happy, smiley girl. So then I asked her about it, and she goes, yeah, no, it's anxiety and da-da-da. And she told me a lot about it. And I was like, I still like just didn't believe that anybody could feel like this and be alive. So fast forward to about like months later, like in between that time, every single day, I just felt like I was going to die. And I felt like nobody knew what I was talking about. Like I was crazy. I felt like a cartoon. It was weird. So I decided to call the mental health hotline, and I was on the phone with them every single day for a good year. And I guess that's like your way in to see a psychiatrist faster. So the first conversation that they told me was to go and wash dishes, anything to distract my mind. So I was like, okay. So I started to wash the dishes, and it wouldn't go away, but I was like, I'm onto something here, because I was distracted. Like, I wasn't thinking about my panic attacks. So it like wouldn't come, but it would come right when I said, oh, hey, I'm not thinking about panic attacks. Panic attacks would stick in my head and I'd have one. So, as I said, I called them every day, and then they got me into a psychiatrist. Okay. My psychiatrist was absolutely out of her mind. So my visit with her, I've literally visited her once, never went back. I'm going to guess that was a firework. I'm just going to be positive. So I go in there, and then I start talking, because I'm the talker, she's the listener. And I'm like, oh, I was like, every day I like wake up scared. Like, I feel like my body. And then she goes, like cuts me right off. I'm like, okay, it's your time. She goes, yeah. And then you're like, your body just goes up, and then you get super scared, and then you start to have tunnel vision, and you feel like you're going to black out. And I'm like, wasn't going to say that, but now that's my life. So thank you so much. And then she goes, here's some Ativan, shut the door on your way out, and bye. And I was like, okay, great, perfect. She gave me 0.5 milligrams. And like I said, I'm not big on medication. So fireworks. It's fireworks. I'm not big on medication, so I'd literally just bite it in half. And amazing. Like, I literally felt like I was floating. And after probably like day 3 of taking it, I was like, do I have to feel like this every day? I have to take these pills every single day for something that's like in my mind? So then I called up the place, and I was like, oh, it's like, just a question. What are these pills supposed to do? Like, am I ever gonna not have to take them? And they were like, no, it's just something to like ease your body and like make you calm. And I was like, oh, clutch. So I'm just going to go back to my original question. Like, do I have to take this for the rest of my life, or am I ever going to be cured? And they were like, well, it depends on the person. Okay. So I was like, explain to me, how does this little pill tell my mind, which I'm the only one that hears the words in my mind. I'm literally in here. I'm the only one. You can't hear me. How is this little pill going to go in and be like, oh, hey, Tyler's mind, can you shut the fuck up because you're fine? And they're like, that's not what I said, obviously, whatever. And they're like, yeah, no, you just take it and ease it off, and you just probably want to find some coping mechanism, like, and I'm like, bye. Okay, see you later. And so from there, I was like on a mission. I was like, there's no way that one day I was normal and the next day I'm this. I'm a straight alien. Like, nobody knows what the fuck is going on. And that happened. And that probably went on for like another year. I stopped taking the medication like 2 days after that last conversation. But anywho, so let's fast forward the year. I lived with my mom. I was super young. I was like 15, 16. And I had an internship at the town hall. My mom lived on Kendall Street. The town hall was where I had my internship. If anybody knows that area, they know you blink and you're there. It's a 30-second walk, not even. I couldn't even walk there. Like, every day it took everything in me to like get up and go. I started at 8:30 and I woke up at 6, always was late. Why? Because it took me everything forever just to leave the house. It was the worst time of my life, and that shit lasted like years. Anywho, so I worked at the town hall as an internship, and I was like 16, so they looked at me like I was a baby. They had nothing for me. I just sat there just to sit there. So I was like, I'm just going to do something with my time. So I started researching stuff, and then I came across this guy who does anxiety newsletters, and his name is Barry McDonough. Barry McDonough. And I read one article and just like clicked with me. I was like, I understand it now. I don't know what it was. And this is the article. And this got me over it. I don't know what it was. He said, having anxiety is like this. And he gave an example of, he goes, think of the letter X. Say X is your thing that's making you super scared. Like anytime you see the letter X, you get crazy, you go into full-blown panic. And then you go to somebody else and you say, hey, look at this. What does this mean to you? And they're like, it's the fucking letter X. What's your problem? And that's when I was like, okay, if the X means nothing to them, the X means nothing to me. It's literally just a thing. And it's me that's giving it the energy that's making me scared. For what? Ever since then, I was like, okay, it's nothing. Anxiety is literally nothing. I don't know what it was and what happened, but it happened. So the next time I would start to like get mad at anxiety. I was like, okay, if you're gonna be in my life like this, like you better do something to me or get off me. So I would think like this, if I'm just gonna walk from Kendall to the town hall and it takes 30 seconds and I have a panic attack the whole way, the end result is I made it to the town hall. I made it to the town hall, so what was the point of the anxiety attack? There was no point of it. It was all my mind, and it was legit a waste of time. It was stupid. So ever since then, I put on my big girl underwears, and I just dealt with it like that. Like I don't want to say that stuff doesn't give me anxiety, but I just know that everything in this world is fake, so it's just not like that anymore. And I already trained my brain. Like I did those steps, like, to not be scared for so long that I trained my life to not be like that. And it just worked out. So, how's your 12 minutes and 4 seconds?